How you doing, guys? This is Dr. Suh at Specific Chiropractic. In this X-ray analysis case, we're going to discuss about how to deal with an anatomically short leg. All right. Now, the background of this case is that this patient right here is a professional ballroom dancer and a Pilates instructor as well. She's talking about chronic right hip pain that's been going on there for decades. Now, take a look at X-ray over here. Here's some two curveballs we got going on. We got some multiple DJDs entire spine, but more so in the neck. So that's going to decrease nerve function to the entire body itself, including the pelvis. And in addition to, we also have, she has an extra 6 lumbar vertebrae. Now, 10% of our new patients, either they have an extra bone or they're missing one. So the next follow-up is, okay, are we dealing with an actual normal 6 lumbar vertebrae, or behaving like a 5th lumbar vertebrae, or is it altered and deformed in some way? So we took a look at AP, it seems to be fine. The transitive processes is complete joint, no joint over here, there's complete space. It's not touching the ilium, not touching the sacrum, that means sacralization, okay? We don't want to have that. Same thing over here. The 6 lumbar, we have a full disc over here. It's not trying to become part of the sacrum here either, okay? So then we go to the biomechanical analysis. And the atlas anteriorities on the right-hand side, so that tells us, okay, so the whole entire head, it's rotating towards this way, okay? And the occiput is rotating opposite this way, okay? Then we take a look, what is the sacral base angle doing over here, okay? Is it too posterior? Is it too anterior? Or is it neutral position? This is just slightly posterior. What are the potential that can make that? There's got to be an ASIN or ASIN misalignment of the ilium, or it could be a posterior rotated sacrum, or a sacral segment issue. Okay. What can make it go forward? Potentially, there's going to be a PI, EX, or PIX ilium. Now let's take a look at the AP. I want to take a look at it. How's it leveled? Okay. The femoral acetabular line is sinking down this way. So what can make it sink down on that side? Well, there's got to be a PI, EX, PIX, or an anatomically short leg on that side, possibly. What can make it things go raise higher on this side over here? Well, got to be an ASIN ilium, or a posterior rotated sacrum on that side, or a sacral segment issue. So then we take a look, what are the actual misalignments of the hips and the sacrum itself? So when we take a look at this over here, this is the width is narrow, wider. So we got an external rotation, an EX and an IN on the right side. So when we took a look over here, the projection wise, if it externally rotates, what happens? It becomes narrow, this becomes wider. Taking a look at the bottom part over here, okay? If we take a look at the obturator foramen shadows, this is wider. This is narrow. So this got shorter, this got wider that way. EX, IN. Gluteal fold line to the left. It also confirms EX. This bony part over here will go wider, EX. This one, narrow, IN. Next we compare is, okay, what's the obturator foramen height? Okay, this is, the height is shorter, so potential AS. This one, taller, potential PI. Now, what is altered, and that's what's throwing the curveball here, normally I want to see a peak, like this one over here, that would be indication of PI. And then I also want to see on this side over here, should be flat, like this one over here, indication of an AS. Now, the reason why is because as you start to tilt over here, okay, you start to flatten out over here. But if this thing start to rotate this way, start to go more PI over here, okay, then we start to have that little peak shape over here. This one over here, start to flatten out, I'm sorry, correction, okay, it's not correct over here. So when this AS tilts this way, you see it start to flatten out, okay. So that's what we want to see, all right. Now, that being said, okay, now we got an interesting curveball, something that doesn't add up. If the femoral acetabular line over here is sinking out this way, if we adjust that ASIN, okay, well, what's going to happen is it's going to sink down even more this way. That's a problem. Okay. Same thing with this one. If we adjust the PIEX on the left side, and it's already here, it's going to tilt out even more this way. The patient is not going to like that. So now I'm going to investigate, okay, do we actually have a anatomically structurally short leg on the right side? So we do a gait analysis. You can also measure things. The most accurate way is we take the X-ray from the ilium all the way down to the feet, okay? You can measure that way. Another way is we could also do a tape measure. Measure from here, the AIIS or the ASIS, either one, okay? And go all the way to, straight down to the foot and see what the distance are. So we confirmed it on her. There is an anatomically short leg on the right side. Now, during the gait analysis, I was already starting to see that the way she was walking is that she was walking like this way, sinking down on the right-hand side. Now, if we adjusted that right ASIN ilium, it'll go even more so this way. We also did a Gonstead seated examination and also delays, and we did confirm on the patient the right ilium is actually the one that's in trouble and it needs to be adjusted. So now the measurements is that she has a 7 millimeter MD, okay, measure difference, and it will be a 10 millimeter AD. An actual difference, that means after we adjust it, she will gain additional 3 millimeters, sinking down even more this way. So therefore, now according to the chapters, okay, or the textbook case would say, okay, we got to put in the full 10 millimeter heel lift onto that right hip. Now, what I find clinically, that may not be such a good idea, and the reason why is because the pelvis over here, this is not a static structure. Okay, every time we walk, it goes into an infinity loop, like so, or a Mobius strip. Okay, now once we start putting a heel lift, okay, the concern is that if we put too much, okay, it should, when we take a look on a gait analysis, I'm going to take a look at these two dimples over here. They should be symmetrically moving like this in equal amount. However, okay, because she said she has that short leg, it's sinking down more downwards on the right hand side. So when we put a heel lift, I want to try to make it symmetrical like this. However, that being said, if we put too much a heel lift, it could go opposite direction, and the patient won't like that either. So we start off with half the amount and we work our way upwards. So we started off with 5 millimeters, put it in there. We still saw, obviously, after I adjusted the right ASIN ilium, okay, then we start putting the heel lift, 5 millimeters. We did a gait analysis, okay, and we saw that, I said, okay, it helped a bit. Then we put it in 6 millimeters, okay. It's okay, so I think a little better, but almost there. 7 millimeters, it just leveled it out. Then we tried 8 millimeters. Then it started to go a little too high. We brought it down to 7 millimeters. But here's the thing. Even if we put 7 millimeters, okay, the reason why we want to keep an eye on the patient is because if this patient was sedentary, that means it's an office worker sitting on a desk, 8 hours, from a 9-to-5 job all day long, then sure, the 7 millimeters should do the trick. But if we're dealing with an athlete, someone who jogs a lot, or especially in her case, a ballroom dancer, okay, because the body is trying to adapt, okay, and get more nerve function, okay, it may readapt to the point that even 7 millimeters may be too high. So the other clue we'll get is that if the patient complains about shin splints, okay, that means the muscle cramping up the front part of the leg. That's how we know, whoops, the heel lift is a little too much and we have to peel a layer off. So we put 7 millimeters in there. We're going to observe, do a follow-up on the following visit, and we're going to pick their brain. And we're going to let them know. It says, did you by any chance have any shin splints on that fellow? How'd you like it? Okay. Patient said, hey, it's completely fine, no problem. That's how we found the exact number on that patient. 7 millimeters is a sweet spot. That's what this case is all about. If you got any other further questions, go ahead. Go ahead, write a question in the comments below. And if you love it, go ahead, like this video and share it. All right. Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed this case. Have a good one. Take it easy.